Okay, I'm going to be talking about the Inogen Rove 6 and the Inogen G5 and the faults we get with those and how to fix them. We've got the errors that come up. This is the manual for the Rove 6, but the G5 is pretty much the same thing. Different errors that come up. So oxygen low error. Another error that comes up is a service soon. Extended startups, taking too long. Replace columns. And those errors, let's see here, and this O2 oxygen error. All those errors can be caused by one particular thing in this machine, and it's the main fault of this machine that happens. A lot of times they say it's time to replace the column, and that's going to fix it. And a lot of times you replace the column and it doesn't fix it. So what really happens inside the machine is this part right here, and I'm going to point, this right here has a screen in it, and this gets plugged up. What causes that is these are normal wear parts that are in the compressor, and it wears off, and the little particulates from that wear go directly into the screen, get caught in the screen, and slowly over time diminish the airflow going through here, which causes the majority of the problems. And let me pull this up. Okay, if you zoom in right here on this point, this is kind of blown up here, but I'm going to kind of stretch this out. But right here is the main spot that those particulates accumulate in here, and it's a screen, and it has to be cleaned. These two, the silver parts, are the valves, and to clean this, you need to unscrew these. They're screwed in. If you look on here, there is a place to put a wrench here or here to undo it. Don't put any pressure in here, or you could damage it. And but these points here are made for a little pressure. What you want, this is a plastic part, and you want to use a cleaner that cleans this without damaging it. What I use is electrical contact cleaner. It's safe for plastics, and it dries fast. It doesn't leave residue behind, and that's why we do this. There's different brands of this out there. It's just electrical contact cleaner. You just want to make sure it's safe for plastics and doesn't leave residue. Something else I use is for drying it is the little duster, electronic duster. You can find this. Both these things you can find at like Walmart, or it's real common stuff. The other tools we're going to be using is a T8 Torx bit. You'll need one long enough, go the length of this, because we're going to go inside here. And you can get these off of Amazon. You can buy a bit set. I think it was less than $10 for that. And this little tool here, it just kind of is for putting bits in. And you get this off of Amazon too. Other thing we're going to need, a little pair of channel locks and small screwdriver. And these are other types of Torx bits that you got, but you can pick what you want. So that's that. And also, I was going to show the differences between the G5 and the Rove 6. They've discontinued the G5. Rove 6 is the one. But most of the parts are the same between here, with a few exceptions. I was going to show you the exceptions. One of the exceptions is the motherboard. This, and how you can tell the difference between the motherboards, the Rove 6 motherboard is this one. You can see these white connectors. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 connectors there. And this is the G5 motherboard, and it only has 4 connectors. 1, 2, 3, 4. The difference between the motherboards is this motherboard has an external speaker for the Rove 6, and the G5 has a speaker that's built onto the board. So that's the difference between the motherboard. And the other difference inside, this is a Rove 6, and this is the external speaker that's in there inside the Rove 6 that hooks up to the motherboard. That's the difference between the 4 pins on the G5 and the 5 pins on the G6 on the motherboards. The speaker on the Rove 6 hooks to that extra pin on the motherboard on the Rove 6. And the case on the Rove 6, this is the compressor case. The Rove 6 compressor case is different because it has the mount for the speaker. The G5 doesn't have that speaker mount on it. And those are the differences there. The other differences is on the top here. This is the G5. You'll notice that the stem is different than the Rove 6 stem. And this is a tool that's made for taking these out. You can get this from Inogen. And it just has these 2 pins that fit down in here. And you'll also need this tool to disassemble these machines. This is the first thing to take apart. You pull it out, and then I already pulled this filter out. This filter is down here. This is the G5. It's got this and a filter, and they're 2 separate items. The Rove 6, it comes out the same way. It does not have a separate filter. The filter is built in with it. Now, just one thing that you can know is you can use one of these in here. You just make sure you remove the filter and it will replace there. Because I know that these are hard to get for the Rove, or the G5 is hard to get, but these Rove 6 barbs are easy. So if you ever need one for your G5, just make sure you pull out the internal filter in this piece, and you can put this in as a replacement if you need it. So the other thing I want to talk about is if you have these compressors are rated for running for 20,000 hours, and this is the wear part that's in this compressor. And you can get this. Inogen won't sell these to you, but there's an aftermarket company called Mack Industries, and they sell these. It's a piston cup, and part number I5-02, and but they're replaceable, and this is a wear item. It will wear out. If you have one that you run past 20,000 hours, you'll probably do some damage to your compressor. So what happens there is this rides inside the piston. It goes inside this cylinder, and if this wears out, it'll grind into the cylinder. But you can buy new cylinders through the same company. These are made by this aftermarket company. Mack Industries makes these also, and it's an i5-11, and it's a cylinder sleeve. And on their website, it says it's good for the G5, but it's the parts in the G5 and for the compressor and the Rove 6 compressor are the same compressor. They're identical, and so the parts are interchangeable. So don't be concerned when you see on their website that it says G5. G5 and Rove 6 are use the same parts. So you can buy cylinder sleeves, and you can buy new piston cups, and that's for repairing your compressors. And inside here, I'll show you a little bit about that. This is what the compressor looks like on the inside. And to take it apart, these T8 Torx bits, by the way, it's T8 screws for the entire machine for the G5 and Rove 6. Everything in there uses T8. So T8 Torx. But this is what the compressor looks like, and you'll have two screws on that cylinder and this cylinder, and you can take that off and get down into your pistons. This is what after the cylinder heads are off, this is what the piston looks like. You'll take this screw and this screw off, lift that piece off, and you can pull that piston cup, this piece right here, and replace it and put it back, a new one in, and you'll be up and running again. This is that Mack Industries. Here's that part, I5-02 for the piston cup, and then for the cylinder sleeve is Mack Industries, and it's I5-11. And let's see here. You can see. Oh. You can see that store.mackusa.com. That's where you go there. And one other thing that goes on this is airflow is a problem. This piece right here where it gets the restriction in here is one of the main problems. But another problem with airflow is on the bottom of your machine right here is the filter that goes into the compressor. And this is a dirty filter. Over time it'll just get dirty, and this has to be replaced every once in a while. Let's see here. Here's the difference between a new one and an old one. And the filter not only comes with the filter itself, but it comes with this cover with it. The way you get that out of your machine is it's just got this little place you pull back here, and then I usually get a little sharp device that'll kind of grab it and I'll pop it out. And so those are the wear items. Another thing is when we take this apart to clean it, because you're going to have to pull these barrels out when we clean it. That way we don't wash that filth into these barrels. There's O-rings in there. If you damage an O-ring and need to replace an O-ring, it's Viton is the material, and you can see it, Viton. Viton is okay to be in an oxygen environment. everything in this machine is under oxygen. So you don't want to add grease to anything, because any petroleum products in contact with oxygen can become a fire problem. Size of the O-rings is, I believe it's right here. In the inch size, the ID is 0.295 inches or 7.5 millimeters, and that's for the ID. And the cross section, or the thickness of the O-ring, is 0.039 inches or 1 millimeter. Viton's material, I got this through Amazon, called Mr. O-Ring was a company. Here you can kind of see what it is there, but you don't have to buy through them. There's other people out there too. And the colors, they make them in a different color. But so you may need one of those if you end up damaging an O-ring and doing this. They're very cheap. I think I bought this bag. I had 50 of them, and it was for less than 10 bucks. I got these. There's the O-rings in here. I believe on each cylinder there's 4 O-rings here and 4 O-rings here. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is low oxygen thing. Inogen always says, you got a low oxygen problem, you need to change out your sieve bed. And most of the time, this is the real problem. As of today, I've had one sieve bed that was actually wore out. These you can buy through Inogen or other people, but they're about, I think through Inogen, about $120 or something like that. But I wanted to point out that this is rebuildable. That there is 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, that you can take off, and underneath here are 2 springs. There's 2 separate columns, one side, another side, 2 separate columns. Spring here and spring here underneath it. It is spring loaded, but not it's not going to just fly apart. You take this off, it'll lift up. Springs will be there. Set your springs to the side. Underneath here is it's like a filter on this side, and there'll be a separate filter on this side. And you just pull that out, and right underneath there is the material that needs to be replaced. You just dump it out and get new material. What the material looks like is it's kind of like a powder. This is out of a column this is the old material, and I just saved it. It looks like it's very, very small beads. The material is called it's zeolite, but it's made with lithium. Lithium zeolite. Let's see. I think I took a picture of this so we can see it better. If you look in here, lithium zeolite molecular sieve, and the size of the beads is 0.4 through 0.8 millimeters. So, and the size of the bead is important. They come in bigger sizes. They don't work very well. And the other part is it needs to be the lithium. If it's not lithium, there's another one that is the same size beads, but it has half the capacity. And these machines need this. They're designed for this. So lithium zeolite molecular sieve, and 0.4 to 0.8 millimeters is the bead size. And you can get this through different companies. Some companies are in America, or China. I found this on AliExpress and ordered it in. I bought a kilogram of it for shipping and everything. Was about $120. That was enough to rebuild 3 of these. So you can buy this through Inogen for $120, or you can buy enough material to rebuild 3 of these for $120. So rebuilding them is you'll save money, but you don't have to rebuild them. You can buy these. One thing about these, when you buy these, they're sealed here and that is to keep the moisture out. This powder, or the zeolite, the lithium zeolite, it absorbs moisture, water, and so it is, when you buy it, it's vacuum packed, sealed to keep the moisture out. Once you open this, you'll want to reseal it. You know, when I open one up, I'll use some of it, but not all of it. I'll close it up and tape it shut, and then I'll put it in a Ziploc bag to make sure I don't let any moisture get to it. But when you get these from Inogen, they'll be sealed. They're already filled up with the zeolite in them from Inogen, but they then seal it and send it to you that way. So it's important that you store these sealed and always keep them sealed until you use them. Okay. All right. So we've already taken these off on the machines. That's the difference there. The other thing is the difference between this. I'll show you the differences. On this machine, the outer case here on the G5 and the Rove 6, only difference is the sticker. This says Inogen G5 and this one says Rove 6, but they're identical. The keypads are interchangeable. I could move this to this machine or that to that machine and it would work. The other thing that's interchangeable, the G5, these screens, and the Rove 6 screen, they're the same thing, just a different color, but they work. So that's interchangeable. It's just different screen colors. Okay, now we're going to go into the machine. So you pull your covers off. We've already pulled this out. That's important that you pull that out, or you're not going to get your machine apart. The other thing is we're going to pull the column out. Pull this lever, lift the tab, pull your column out. Okay. And this is that filter that I was talking about. It's right here. It needs to be replaced every once in a while. And I think that filter the company American oxygen/equipment.com, and I think these filters are like $26 a piece. And Inogen won't sell them to you, but this company will. Okay. To disassemble this, there's 5 Torx screws, one here, 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 and down in the bottom. So we're gonna go down here. Can you see? Zoom in. Down, we're very down in this is a screw. I'm gonna take it out. Okay, little short screw. Notice this is a long screw, so notice there's a difference in the length. All four of these on this, and this are long, and the one down in the bottom is short. Okay, we've got the 4 long screws and 1 short one here. Set these to the side here. Okay. All right, now the case just lifts off. Okay, this keypad here, it's got contacts inside here that contact up here, and that's how it works. But like I said, the Rove 6 and the G5, you could interchange this piece here. Practically all the pieces in here are the same between them, except the motherboard, like I went over, is this motherboard on the Rove 6 has the extra speaker connection and an external speaker behind here. Okay, down inside here is the valve we're going to remove and clean. It's this one right here, and it's held in by this clip here. We'll just open that clip up. I just use a screwdriver, pry it open, and it unclips. Then we got the wire connections here that we're going to have to open up. So just reach in here and you unplug them. There's only 2 wires that go to here, but to get to them, you kind of have to unplug all of them. Okay, and then you can just pull them out of the way. Okay. Now we're going to pull this right here, this little tang, this little clip right here. It goes through this circuit board on this side here and kind of attaches right here. So we're going to push this clip up a little to detach it, and then you can then pull this up. Get this out of the way. That'll allow us to get this up. We're going to lift this up. And pull this out of the way. Just set that to the side. This valve doesn't give much, it doesn't get dirty and doesn't really give trouble. But this valve is the main trouble. Okay, and it is pushed in here. So let's get it out of there. It's just kind of pushed down in there. Kind of pull it out like so. And now it's all, this thing is filthy and this machine's giving troubles. So it's time to rebuild it. So like I said, there's a little spot here. These barrels are screwed in. You just have to turn it a little bit, release it, and start unscrewing it. And that's the one comes out. And then we'll get the other one out. Okay. And now this is where we're going to use the contact cleaner. This stuff smells. So I usually do this outside. We're going to step outside for a second. Okay, and you just clean this out. And let's clean it all out. This is the main spot. That's it. And then I'll just kind of finish drying this out. All right. That's it. Let me double check that. Okay, and now we just put it back together. You just press this down in here. After it's in, squeeze this clamp. It'll clip back together. Put this in. Let's see, did we get those right? I believe so. Okay. All right. So it's all back together. If you haven't seen in here, just kind of, I'll go over this. This is your cooling fan that's down inside here. These screens, the way it works is that this cooling fan will pull air in through those screens, and it flows over that compressor to cool the compressor. And but while it's running, also you're wondering where does the air actually get pulled in that you breathe, and it is behind this motherboard. Let me see here. Right here, this tube you see going down here is just open, and it's just open. It pulls air in. So the same air that gets sucked in for the cooling also is in the machine, and it just goes down here, through there, through the filter, and into the compressor, and into the bottom of the compressor. There's two screws that hold the compressor in, and they are hollow screws, and the air goes into the compressor through there, through the machine, into the compressor. And you can see where the two screws set are here and here because of the little dirty spots. Okay. All right. So we've got everything lined up here. Okay. Just put your case back on. Don't over tighten these. This is plastic, it'll strip out. Just bring it down to where it snugs up. Okay, this other one is way down in there. Kind of tricky to get in there, but just kind of put it on your screw. Okay. Put your column back in. Screens. And a little filter. Okay. Okay, and that pretty much will clear up most of your problems with these. As you can see, it's not difficult, doesn't take too long. When you turn it, you know, it's up to you as far as if you like to send stuff in for service and pay them $300 or $400 to fix it every time. Seems like about every 1,000 hours or so. It really depends on how. The newer the machine, these kind of break in. After they get broke in a little bit, it lasts a little longer. But when you start having troubles, those different errors you get, it's usually because it's dirty and it needs to be cleaned. If after you clean this part and put it back together, and you're still having low oxygen problems, then it's time to get into the working with a new sieve. But most of the time, cleaning this corrects all your problems. So another thing is there is an hour meter in here, so you can track. So when you work on your machine, you want to write down your hours so you have an idea when it's about time to do this. Last thing you want to do is be going on an airplane trip or something and having your machine go down. I recommend any time you go on a trip or planning on going anywhere, give your machine a cleaning before you go, just to make sure you don't have troubles on your trip. And also have a spare machine with you. This is how you read your hour meter. Hold this bell button down. And this is the hour meter here, this number right on top. This one has 8,510 hours on it. The second thing you can do is hold, after you're in this menu, you can hold this plus down, and it's going to go to a section that shows you your O2 contents right here. Now, it says O2, and there's a dash, and percent. Where the dash is, will show up your oxygen percentage. But when you first initially start up your machine, it won't be there. But after a while, it will start showing up. So to get out of that menu, just hold this bell button down. And you're out. And so that is how to clean the most important part of your machine, this valve screen that gets plugged up. And the difference between the G5 and the Rove 6, they're basically the same machine, other than the Rove 6 has a different motherboard, and the speaker is external. The compressor case is different, and the little nipple here is different between the two. But the nipples are interchangeable. But that's basically it, and the sticker on top just says Rove 6 or G5. So that's basically, like I said, so buying a G5, if you find a used one, don't be scared of them. And I showed you the main thing that goes wrong with these machines. So, and I can't really think of anything else. I might go into how to rebuild the compressor another day or something like that. But that's it for today for the Rove 6 and the G5 fault for low oxygen problems and service errors and things like that. Back to these faults here that I was showing you here. And replace column will be one of them. Extended startup showing up. The O2 error one. The service soon and the O2 low. All those kind of show up when this is dirty. And all right. Okay. And that's it.